Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the Blue Chair podcast, the podcast for women on the path of self reclamation. I'm Miha, and the Blue Chair is your refuge, a space where books become doors and stories become mirrors. Here, we sit together and we speak honestly about the lives we are building, away from the expectations and the conditioning, away from limitations, and away from the stories that keep us small. Today, we're joined by Vanessa. Vanessa, welcome, my dear. So good
Thank
to
you.
have you here.
Oh, I love seeing your face again.
Yes, we've seen each other a little while ago. So, my dear Vanessa, before we begin, I would like to our listeners to meet you and for you to talk to us a little bit about your labels. Who is Vanessa, but also who is the woman behind the labels?
Oh, I this is such a great way to start. So, welcome. Good morning. I'm in the United States, so it's still morning for me, but good afternoon to everybody else or whoever's watching. Let's see. If I start with the labels, I will always say first that I'm a mom because I've been a mom. I was telling Miha before my oldest turns 21 tomorrow. And then I also have 19-year-old boy girl twins. So I've been a mom for the better part of over 20 years. Um,
So happy birthday, mom. Happy birthday,
I
son.
know. Thank you. I'm actually meeting a friend tomorrow morning, and I'm getting a gluten-free bakery, and I'm getting myself a birthday cupcake. I birthed him, so I get a
You
cupcake or
deserve
two.
it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm 100% celebrating, and also making it to 21. It's like wild. So, other things, I always identify as the oldest daughter. I am the oldest daughter, oldest granddaughter, oldest niece on both sides of my family. So I have a lot of energy with that. I'm also a Capricorn with a Virgo rising and a Sagittarius moon, which I just learned about the moon stuff. But with that Capricorn and Virgo, I typically outwardly come across very type A, very grounded, very go go. But like my inner self is just very intuitive and highly sensitive. So there's this constant contrast. Um, I'm a writer. I've been writing since I knew I had hands. That's what I always say. And so I was constantly writing and drawing. And then I was also a homeschool mom for 16 years. I just graduated my last child. That was been a big part of my identity and has been slowly shifting. And then career wise, I spent a lot of time doing public relations, marketing communications. Took 10 years off to be stay at home mom and homeschooling. And then for the last 8 or so years, I've been just working for myself doing creative communication strategy, blogging, writing for other people. I have some like marketing and social media clients. So those are kind of all the labels I would say. And behind it at the bottom of it is that I'm an absolute daydreamer who loves to be I love to be by myself, honestly. I just daydream and I'm a journal and like paper and pen addict. So those are just some like full basic things about me. I love that. And I'm also almost 100% Italian as a third generation. So that is also a huge part of my identity.
Allora, benvenuta.
Yes, yeah, I know. I got my results back. I did a test, and we were pretty sure it was close, but I thought 93% uh, Southern Italian at third generation is quite impressive. I said it's quite impressive.
A lot of the genes are still fighting to be there. So
They are.
I
Well,
feel the spirit, actually, the Southern Italian
yeah,
spirit. It's
yeah,
coming. We feel it. I
it
think we
is.
all agree we can feel it.
So
And
that's what it is.
so through all this mix and mingle of labels and who's under it, we have the question, the
Yeah,
blue chair
yeah,
signature question.
yeah.
What
Under it.
is a moment in your life, Vanessa, that you consider a turning point toward self reclamation?
Yeah, it was 100% 3 summers ago. I went through menopause. And when I tell you it, I, the first thing that just came to me was that it took me down. I don't mean that in a bad way. I knew it was I knew it was coming. I have been writing and speaking about perimenopause since 2018, 2019, long before it was like a very catchphrase thing. I had been sharing my journey, but summer 2023, I knew I was getting to like that final point. At least I was praying. I was like, please, dear Lord, let this be it. But it took me down, and I used the term, I white knuckled my way through it. I wasn't on any HRT. I wasn't on anything. I was doing nothing but like, and I don't know why. I'm not sure why I didn't do anything. I did not feel like myself probably for a good like 6 months, like of 2023. And that day in August when I was finally like, oh, it's been a year, like I just had this like pure release of like, oh, this, I'm in a new phase of life. And as I said, it took me down, but it took me down in like the most beautiful way. Now that I can kind of like sit back and like reflect back on it, during the time it felt really challenging, but that was 100% one of the biggest portals that I have walked through in my entire life.
And how has it redefined your life? What's the before and after? Especially for us that we're on the journey of Peri, and we're getting there slowly.
Yeah. I definitely think from a energetic standpoint, I mean, it kind of cracked away the people pleaser energy that I've had my entire life. I always joke that my kids were all of a sudden like, you're not nice. You're not so nice anymore. And it's not that I was being me, but just my tolerance for like BS, my tolerance for a lot of stuff completely went away. And it was very jarring, very, very jarring. Because I'm like, I used to say yes to everything. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll help you. Yes. And then that summer, I just was like, nobody talk to me, leave me alone. Like I can't, like, you're all like, I've raised you, or I've helped with work. Like everybody figure your own crap out. Like I see you later. Bye. And I had to sit with that for a while. And it was really, it was a bit scary, honestly. Cause I was like, well, who am I if I'm not a people pleaser? Who am I if I'm not the person always saying yes? Who am I if I'm not the responsible one all the time?
Who are you?
I'm still, it's been 3 years and I'm still working through that. But what held me in place that whole time was some simple creative practices. And I was able to really, I did a ton of writing. I did a ton of journaling. And that's what kind of kept me anchored in when I felt like I had just been like run over by 27 trains. So it was this weird, like, I have never felt so horrible in my life physically. I mean, maybe after childbirth, but even then it was different because I was a lot younger. But then also this creative portal that it was also. It was pretty wild.
We talk about flow.
Yeah. That word is really important for me. Being in flow, and I'm not necessarily talking about that. I know there's like a scientific term that we talk about, and that I can't remember the name of the person who came up with it.
It has a very complicated Hungarian name.
Yes, and I didn't even know when I came up with that word for myself and my sort of self-care, and then my creative version of that. I didn't even know about it. It just was a word that came to me when I was working with my health coach back in, I think, 2018 or 2019. And she asked me how I was flowing through my days. And at that point I was like in perimenopause, and I was like, I'm not flowing at all. Like there's nothing flowing.
There are rocks everywhere.
There are rocks. I told her I was on the riverbank, like splayed out, like clinging to light, like, and I wasn't flowing. And so from there, I came up with a self-care method around the word FLOW, and then that morphed into this past spring. How can I create my own flow around being in creative practice? Because I'm really good at taking care of myself now. Like I'm wonderful at it. I'm very diligent at my self-care. but like creativity, I have found over the last 3 years has really, really been an an anchor. It's been a new thing, but it's also coming back to this, what I call like my little kid version of myself. I'm 51 now, and it's just all been this beautiful practice because you have to stay in flow if you're going to be creating. And I really truly believe for people in perimenopause and going through that menopause portal, like creativity could be an absolute gift.
And if we talk about flow and the body, because we are there, and of course it affects our mind and our body, it affects everything. I mean, the whole ecosystem there. But what were the signs? And when I talk about that, it's about listening and listening to the body. Like your mind caught up later, a little bit later. Your body knew before your mind did, and it fought to admit what was happening.
That is and I think, and obviously everybody experience the interesting thing I think about perimenopause and menopause is that every person experiences it.
It's very individual.
Differently. It's very individualistic based on so many different things. I mean, yes, there's symptoms and blanket statements, sure, of course, but I think when I was really going through it 3 summers ago, I felt like I was living outside of my body almost. Like I was watching myself like have to, like I would show up on meetings and I would get off of a meeting and be like, what just happened? Like what just happened? Like, did I say something? Did I do, like, I had to write and leave notes. I was like making mistakes that I normally never would have made. And then I was just like really upset at myself and I wasn't sleeping and my body just felt super foreign. But I also learned to have to be really gentle with myself because at that point I was like, this is, you're going to get through. I knew I was going to get through it. I just needed to kind of then cling on. And then I did finally, I waited another year. It was a full other year, 2024, before I went and found a practitioner. I was like, please help me because I can't
help me leave.
Please, because I couldn't keep on doing nothing because I literally couldn't function. Yeah.
So we need to listen. There's like a small tip that we should listen more to our body.
And ask for help. Yeah.
And especially that. And especially that. What do you think that steals the wonder from women in this period of our life, in this midlife?
What steals our wonder?
Yeah.
I think it's obligations. A ton of obligations that either are just handed to us because we've always done them. We're responsible. We're reliable. We're going to get shit done, right? One of my favorite things I've been saying is like everything almost always gets done. Like I don't know one single woman who doesn't get all her stuff done. Like she'll complain about, I'm like, you're going to get it done. Like, why are we talking about this? I know you're going to get it done. And I say that for myself. So I think that's the biggest thing it's like these obligations. And then another thing is like, not giving yourself permission to be in your joy. I'm really big into daily joy and joy journaling and finding joy, especially during hard times,
Yeah, I wrote a note last night about aiming to be truffle of joy hog.
I love that.
I love this little info about life, about hogs and dogs that hunt truffles, and apparently the hogs eat the truffles. So they prefer dogs because dogs find them, but they don't eat them. But I said, I want to be a hog. I really want to eat that truffle of joy because I was complaining when we had our session. I said that I feel like I've lost my joy. And so it really resonates now about, yes, allowing ourselves to feel the joy and look for it and find it. But especially when there's grief around it. And may I go there?
Absolutely.
Would you like to share a little bit?
Yeah. So this year I've lost 2 friends to cancer. One was 49 and my other friend was 50. Um, and one was my friend who died in January did not know she had cancer, had stage 4 cancer, and did not know. So when I got the text that she had passed away after just going to the hospital with what I thought was just pneumonia, and then a week later I learned that she had like I it still make I'm still super angry about it. And this is a friend I had met 5 years ago. We talked almost every single day, and she was 49. Her 50th birthday was July 8th. And so I made myself an ice cream sundae. I lit a candle. And I sang happy birthday to her. And I asked her for a sign earlier that day. And later that afternoon, we had a horrible thunderstorm. And then a double rainbow came. And that she loved rainbows. She was also very gregarious, very loud. She loved a rainbow. And so I said, I knew that was, she had sent me those 2 rainbows. My other friend I met at the first week of university in 1993. We'd been friends since the first week of college. Lived together in college, lived together outside of college. Just a super close friend, and she'd been battling colon cancer, stage 4, for 3 years. And so while we knew it was a hard fight, nobody was expecting her to pass. Like it was a bit of a shock. And I did get to see her a month before she passed, and sit with her and hold her hand, and she was still in great spirits. And I just want to say, like, I've still done my daily joy practice every single day because I have to. I absolutely have to.
How
And I,
difficult is it to sustain this too? Because apparently, I come from a culture where we're told that, I mean, we're not directly told that you're not allowed to laugh and practice joy, but it's implied, especially the first year, like it's a lot of sadness around it and a lot of
oh,
grieving and a lot of um, crying and a lot
yeah,
of church things and rituals
yep.
involved. So it's a learning process, at least for me, to balance the
Mm,
both, the grief and the
yeah,
joy, to be able to, and not to feel even guilty that it's because it's like you're betraying the person if you are laughing. But as you said, I mean, it's like I see your friend's spirit with the thunder and the storm being loud and then showing you the
yeah,
rainbows.
yes,
How
yeah.
how do we make peace with these two? Where's the
I,
balance?
yeah, and it's funny. I grew up a town. I mean, I am a town. I grew up Catholic, and they love nothing more than a good funeral. Not, I'm being facetious a little bit, but like it was very part of the culture I grew up in. I mean, I'm American, but Catholic Italian and third generation in funerals. I've only been to a couple, but like I just remember my grandmother or my friend, like just like that whole process. But because I've had this practice in place since November 2021, when I was in like my own personal sort of crisis and stuff. It wasn't surrounded around grief. It just felt like I had to keep doing the joy because both of my friends were two of the most joy filled people. So why wouldn't I celebrate that joy? It would be like, for me, it would be dishonoring not to do it because if they were here, they would be like telling me, girl, get your joy journal out and write down some things. So for me, it's honoring their spirit, it's honoring their life for me, even in like absolute deep grief. And it's just been one thing after another this year. It's been an important part of my days, and I will go to the mat about that practice. I tell everybody, and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything to pull out a notebook and write down one thing that brought you joy that day. Just one. Just start with one.
And if we add rest in the mixture,
Yeah. And I think that's all part of this is that we live in such a hustle culture. Uh, I don't know. And your body, once you get to late stage perimenopause and menopause, like it's just different. Like I take all the things. I'm on all the HRTM. I take the supplements. I take care of myself. My energy is it's just different. I'm not 45. I'm not 35 anymore. I'm not 25. I take naps when I need to. I've been going to bed super early um, because I need to be able to sustain myself in a different season that I'm in right now, especially with the grief this year. It has sucked a lot out of me this year because it's been nonstop.
And if we go back to creativity, what tips would you give us?
Number one, you are creative. I don't prescribe to the fact that like you're either creative or you're not. I think everybody has a creative bone in their body. Everybody has a creative soul somewhere. You just have to excavate it out. Maybe some of it's just harder to access. Creativity for me lately looks like I'm junk journaling. I'm really into nostalgia, things that bring me like childhood joys, whether it's music I listen to or my sticker collection, coloring, that kind of stuff. And then also for me, I have a pretty sustained creative practice that I do in the morning. And then also trying to tune out things that suck away my creative energy. So I took off social media. I took off Instagram for the whole summer. This is my third summer doing that. Not that and ironically, I do social media for two clients, so I still have to, have to be on there.
Go there.
But I'm not posting anything on mine. And I'm kind of like, this might actually last the rest of the year if I'm being honest. So it's being very protective also of my creativity, and that I have to every day I do something creative. I have to. It's like taking a vitamin, right? It's just taking a vitamin, what's my creativity supplement for the day. And I just have a little list of things that I can kind of go to, and I just make sure I do something every day.
Thank you for that. I feel like it's a permission for me too, because I was, it's been a rough patch for me too lately. It's like I think for all of us, 2026, it's a beautiful challenge, let's say. And I was having a conversation with my Jessica, our first podcast, and she was like, try painting. It's going to help you relax a little bit. But it feels like so far away, like, oh, I have to go and, take my watercolors and maybe, I don't know, that notebook or that piece of paper. And it feels like another chore. So how do I get from, oh, yes, I have to go and do that. How do I cross that bridge? Can you give us a little tip?
Yeah, I would say two things. I would say one, create a space in your home and just leave your stuff out. Like that's what, and I'm doing that as like a homeschool mom. I always left stuff out for my kids that they could just go and do, that didn't need me to set up stuff for them. So it meant our house looked like our house was never decorated or looked great because I just had stuff for them to just go and access whenever they needed to. And I just didn't put it away. I just would leave. I mean, I would tidy it up, but I would just leave it out. So if you know that you're going to want to paint, can you just set up a little space that's just for your painting? Or can you put everything just in like a little creativity bag, and then you just have your bag and then you pull it out and it's like literally all there? Like, how do you take your decision fatigue away from doing that? And then I think a practice you and I may have chatted about, I know I've done this multiple times with other clients when I do creativity sessions. I said, make a list of 10-minute creative practices, 30-minute creative practices, and 60-minute creative practices. And that way, when you have the time, you can just look at your list and say, oh, today I have 30 minutes. I'm going to do some watercolor painting. Oh, today I only have 10 minutes. I'm going to listen to 3 songs and dance, or I'm going to just do one journaling page. So I think it's really about just like spending a little time preparing, maybe over the weekend or at the beginning of your week, and setting yourself up for those practices.
Yeah, we're used to food prepping so much, but we're not used to creative prepping. Yes, so thank you on behalf of everyone listening now and later. Thank you for that tip. We'll maybe we can also all share our little corners, our little creative bags later. That would be a great idea to see. And to exchange ideas about the 5 minutes, because even when I heard 60 minutes, I panicked inside. But I'm gonna pick 5. in the beginning.
5, 10, and 15. Like it literally picks 7 minutes, 9.5 minutes, and 24 minutes. It does. You can pick random numbers, right? Another client of mine, she created. I had her create a creativity bingo card, and she just made like little fun things she could do during her week that were creativity related, and then have like a little fun bingo card. Because I we kind of came up with the idea for her to create herself like a creativity summer camp for herself because she had a little bit more downtime, and we had so much fun planning that out. And then she checks in with me to like let me know like what she's doing. Yeah, have some fun. It's summer. Like summer's not my favorite season, so how? Because it's very, very, very hot where I live for like 6 months. It's just gross, and so I have.
So we're waiting for autumn too. Uh, and yes, you've just guided us back to creativity. And I would love to know how has creativity surprised you lately? What has it brought to you? Yes. It's about being seen. Do you feel seen by the world and this society, and finally accepting that yes, I can do that, because it's we go back to people pleasing and listening to them, that you cannot pay your bills from creativity. But now something changed inside. Nope. Nope. You're writing about whispers. If you were to hear a whisper, or to whisper to the women in midlife, what would that whisper be? Thank you for that. And before we finish, we are in the blue chair. For the next woman that is going to sit in the blue chair, what would you like to leave waiting for her? Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us, Vanessa. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Until the next time, the chair is always here. Thank you.